Hello everybody, so now I have made addition to the computer. So I decided that I want to have a little bit more features, right? So as you can all see from the previous iterations, I've added a whole chunk here, okay? My main issue was with it being glued to the wall, it would be very limited in terms of portability, right? So, it's hooked up to the wall and this very short cable. So I decided why not double tape a battery pack to it, okay? So I also did that. So now with the press of a button, the whole system turns on. So that's pretty great. So now just by this button, okay? Yeah. So I mean, you can't do it too fast, obviously. So you may also be wondering now, what is this main portion here? So this new chunk is now the data transmission center that I will call it, okay? That's in terms of this computer where all the data transmissions go in and out, okay? More about that later. Now let me explain the computer step by step for those who haven't seen the video before. I encourage you to check out the other videos as well. So this is a very simple computer that I have made, and it encompasses my own computer architecture that I've created. So here's how it works, okay? Let's look at all the parts closely, okay? Let's start off with the Arduino Nano 33BLE Sense. This is an extra computer. It's, in this case, will be interacting with these three LEDs here. All right, so this is a form of data of like communication between computers. So this is actually the main computer, okay? And this is where this not really main computer, but it's like the control center, okay? And you have also, it's also a graphics card as well. So it is running the graphics right now. So as you can see here, back to this, we have this here, okay? There's an inbuilt RGB LED, red, green, blue, that we will be flashing later, along with a button as well, okay? This is also main controls some other factors here. This you will see later that this does control the three LEDs over here and this being able to turn on, okay? So as long as all these switched on, the computer is at full functionality, okay? Now down here we have three LEDs, which are red, green, and blue. And these are connected to where we'll now look, the main computer, okay? Let me turn it off. So this main computer, there's certain functions to it. So underneath it is actually a Arduino Mega 2560. I got a cheaper version, which is just basically a knockoff. So it does not have like warranty and all that, right? But it is nevertheless still worth the same. So there's reset button here, another reset button down here. So there's a lot of reset buttons. Oh, and a reset button here. So, and this, you can also double tap it to reset it. So a lot of ways to reset the computer in case you ever want to. So we now look at the graphics card, right? So here we have a potentiometer box, which controls the contrast for the display. We have input buttons here, and of course power LED. This is a 16:2 LCD liquid crystal display, character display, okay? And then down here is also the Arduino Mega 2560, which is running the graphics and the main program. So now if I turn it back on again, yeah. Now moving on here, we just have an optocoupler. So that's just basically ensuring that in case there is a power surge, that these components are not going to be damaged by it. And we also do have a power LED here. Now back to the fairly new addition here, okay, which is the which is basically a battery bank, right? So it's just some battery bank I found in the closet. So it does work by this simple switch, on and off. And if you look carefully, there is an input port, micro USB, I believe, and then an output port, which is via USB, going all the way here to the power module. And now the power module is delivering power to the board here, okay? And now there is also the hooked up to the data transmissions, okay? So this is, data transmissions hooked up here, and a Bluetooth module, infrared module, and these are external ports for addition, but we don't want to add anything else now, okay? So now for the final part, which is a new feature I'm very excited to show. So you can see this LED here, right? So what I actually made is a infrared detector, okay? So it detects all of the infrared waves going around. So if you do not already know, there's several studies conducted that suggest that infrared waves are bad for the human body, right? And when it goes through them long term, it can cause damage to the human body. So I wanted to detect this, right? And see if there's any way I could detect it. So right now you can see the LED is stable, okay? So what I have here is an infrared remote from some old light controller, and here it's broken apart, okay? And I have a coin battery. Okay, I'm going to insert that here. All right. Now I'm going to press some buttons, and you're going to see the LED slightly vibrate. Very subtle, but it detects any of the frequencies. Anywhere I press on here, this is via the infrared detector. So I'll detect this anywhere, okay? Notice reset it and recalibrate it if needed. But that is essentially the whole idea. Now back to the software here, okay? So software here says system info. If we click system info, we found out information about the main computer, this main one, okay? The version of it, this operating system, which is PAM-OS beta, v.2.1. If you go out, there's a graphics test, which is, if we select it here, essentially flipping zeros. So in case you don't know already, this is a kind of a menu system, okay? For the operating system, you can go up and down. So this button is up, this button is down, this is to select, this is to go out, okay? So now if we click red LED, we can now see the red LED turned on. And we can do the same for green LED, for example, and blue LED, okay? So all of them are turned on. Now finally we can do the RGB nano, okay? So this program essentially boots up the external computer and this module, and it'll flash it like so. So as you can see, this is basically communication that's saying, hey, you should start doing this. Yes, so this is essentially my computer, and so yeah, that's all. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again.